Today's guest is someone whose journey, wait a minute. Yeah, journey, expertise, and voice have guided many through one of life's most difficult paths, a cancer diagnosis. We're honored to welcome Kenny Perkins to the show. Kenny is a radiation therapist, a board certified cancer coach, a dedicated advocate, podcaster, and author of The Five Stages of Winning with a Cancer Diagnosis. Today, we're going to dive deep into misconceptions about mammograms, explore emotional realities of cancer, and discuss how we can better advocate for ourselves and our loved ones when navigating this disease. Kenny, welcome to the Unexpected Detour. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, Francis, thank you so much for having me here on your show today. It's an honor to be here.
Finally, right?
Yes. And something happened right now, right in this moment. My screen just went black. That was weird.
Yeah, I see. No worries.
Give me 1 second here. That's weird. Of course, right? Of course this happens.
Yeah, right? Just on my time, right? But it's okay.
Let's see what we got here.
You good now?
You still see me?
Yeah, I can see you. You're talking, you're moving about. Yeah, you're fixing your screen
Yeah,
because you're on your laptop, right?
I am.
Okay.
I'm not sure what happened on my end here. Let me see. It's black. Give me 1 second here.
Okay. Because I can see you.
Well,
Now you
Francis, thank you so much for having me here on your podcast today. It's a privilege to be here, and so sorry we're having a little technical difficulties, but it's an honor, the honor to be here and share today with your listeners. And you know, I think it's amazing for some of the things that you are doing here, and we just had a little chance to talk a little bit offline. So thank you so much for having me as your guest.
okay. So let the audience know about Kenny.
Yeah, for
That's
sure,
why I wanted you here because I wanted to know more myself
for
about
sure.
the cancer guy.
Yeah. Well, Francis, thank you so much. I mean, one of the things I landed in this industry, the cancer industry, by accident. I thought all my life I was going to be an architect, and I was working towards that up until I graduated from high school. I was taking all of the architectural classes, engineering classes. I knew what schools that I wanted to go to, and when I graduated, there was a recession, and I just thought, well, this is not something that I'm going to be able to pursue because of that. And you can see because you can see with that mindset, with that thinking, I didn't have much guidance in that because, as we know, recessions come and go. But I ended up in the medical field as a transporter. And one day I was transporting a patient to radiation oncology. And as a transporter, I was transporting strictly for radiology. You come in, you get a chest x-ray, right? When you come in, you fell out of the tree. Did you break your arm? Yes or no? That's kind of what we were doing. And I was transporting those patients. But I transported a patient to radiation oncology one day, and I thought, wow, this is different. It was in a different building, it was in a different location. I had never been there. And so I started asking questions to the therapist at that time. And they told me that they seen their patients anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. And I thought, man, that is amazing, right? It's just not, one and done. You build a relationship with them, you get to know them, their families, their likes, dislikes. And then for me, that touched me, because that fits who I am, getting to know people, being personable. And so I decided that I was going to get into that. And then they tried to deter me. I said, radiation oncology, what do you know about that? And they were like, you don't want to do it. It's depressing, and you need to do something else, maybe like nuclear medicine or something like that. But at that point, I was like 19. So I was like, don't tell me what to do. I'm gonna do it, So it was that stubbornness that kind of led me into it. Before going into school for radiation oncology, radiation therapy, I thought, well, if they cured cancer, I better have a backup as far as a career is concerned. So I did radiology first, did radiologic technology, became a tech, and then went to school, back to school for radiation therapy. So that's kind of how that happened. As far as my involvement into radiation therapy and the cancer industry. Um, and so probably up until 20, 2020, um, I decided I was going to pursue something that I had been thinking about. I had mentioned to one of the physicians, it wouldn't be kind of cool if we had a show where people can go to a platform, they can speak about cancer and the different things that are happening within the cancer industry. And she kind of said, facetiously, sarcastically, also, you'd be like the Oprah of cancer. And I replied back like, yeah, kind of. And so that has been my tag at this point. In 2020, I became a cancer coach. Um, I also launched my podcast of April of 2020, and we've been going ever since. Here we are. We just finished our 5th year, going into our 6th year. So, it all starts from ideas that you have, and I thought there should be more. I could be doing more for these patients. And so that's kind of how the podcast and cancer coaching evolved.
But then you have a book too.
Yes, right.
Wow.
I mean, it's never enough, right? It's never enough. It's always trying to provide value for the patients. And so, one of the things when you get diagnosed, you go through these stages, and we talk about that. So the 5 stages of winning with a cancer diagnosis, and you can find that on Amazon. And we're doing whatever we can to make sure that we we give those that are diagnosed, their family members or the caregivers, whatever their need in order to be successful on this journey. And we also bring in professionals, healthcare professionals, to speak about it, uh, what their whatever it is their specialty is related to cancer, so that the listener can benefit, right? So yeah, we've been busy in our camp over here on our side for sure.
I see you on the West Coast.
On the
I'm
West Coast here in Los Angeles. Yes, yes.
trying to do the East Coast. Let me ask you a question. There's a lot of confusion around about how women should get mammograms. Can you help break that down?
Absolutely. I'm not a radiologist, but oddly enough, this is interesting. I just hung up the phone with a radiologist. She'll be coming on the show, and what we're talking about is the type of testing that should be given to ladies. And a lot of times, the standard is obviously you're getting a mammogram. But what she mentioned today was that for those that have very dense breasts, um, sometimes a mammogram not enough. You need to do an MRI. So we're gonna be launching that show soon, or actually recording that show soon, so that breast patients know how to go about um, getting the right procedure. And what she mentioned too on that, and it was a meet and greet, and I mean, I can't make this up. This is crazy. You talked about some of the physicians sometimes not knowing what type of exam to order. And so we're going to be breaking that down also for those that are listening in, and for the professionals, because there's different types of orders for mammogram. So I'm excited about that. Again, my deal is to bring you the best content that we can so that it can help you on your journey. So yeah, we see a lot of breast patients in radiation oncology. I would say probably 50% of our patients are breast. Yeah,
And it's sad that it's getting like this. And it's
yeah,
the younger ones that are getting it too.
yeah. It really is. It really is. I've been doing this now for well over 2 decades, and we see that. We see a lot of younger um, females coming in being diagnosed. I have two under treatment now, so it's sad. Before in my earlier career, we didn't see that. They didn't see that often, but now it's becoming more and more common.
Do you work with a lot of breast cancer patients?
Yeah, I treat about 40 patients a day,
So you're
and
doing the radiation or
I'm doing the radiation. Yeah,
oh, is that when we gotta hold your hand up and hold your breath? That thing?
it
That's
sure.
you?
Yeah. Well, depending on, that hold the breath with your arms up is mostly for left-sided breast patients. They want to make sure that the heart is out of the way. So that's where the breath hold comes in um, for those types of patients. But yes, that's us, radiation oncology. Uh, we're the ones that irradiate the breast for sure.
So you just do that part of radiation with the
I
breast cancer patients, or you
I
do
do
all of
I do
them?
all.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you do anyone that has cancer, you're their radiologist.
Yeah, I am the therapist. I'm the radiation therapist for sure.
Oh,
So, we're the ones that administer the radiation. And so we're the ones that line you up, set you up every day and give the treatments. And so, it's not uncommon to have an average of 30, 40 patients per day.
wow.
It's
Keep
unfortunate.
treating.
It's unfortunate. That's a big number, but that's where it's at right now, and that's a spectrum. That's not just breast cancer. That's breast, that's prostate, that's lung. That's liver, it's brain, it's skin
Oh, okay.
cancers. So we do it all.
What are those side effects of that radiation? Because I know they have some.
Yeah. Well, depending on where you're being treated for a breast cancer patient, one is you're going to get some redness and some sensitivity in the skin because
Yeah,
we're
burns.
yeah we're radiating that area.
Yeah, I got
Depend
burnt bad.
yeah.
Oh,
Did you had that effect?
yeah.
Yeah. And what the radiation oncologist
You
likes
know
to
you
do.
disappeared, right?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, you're not there.
It's so weird.
The devil was busy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There we
Okay,
go.
you're back. Yeah.
So what the radiation oncologists like to do, I mean, for those who have side effects, there's different types of uh, creams or things like that that you can utilize to try to minimize the effects. Not we tell the patients these are the side effects that you could have, but it's not guaranteed that you will get them. But we
Right,
need we need to tell you what the potential side effects will be.
right. Because I know I had side effects, and that was that burn where the skin just came off. It was blistered.
Mm.
Yeah.
Did they have to put you on a break or anything like that?
No, they just
Okay.
said, stay there, hold your breath, and that's it. But then I saw a radiologist oncologist, and he said, don't pay attention to them when they tell you not to put some cream that they have. He said, put it on because it will help.
Mhm.
And then I had to get the burn cream because that's how bad it got.
Mhm.
Does it, okay, let me ask you a question. What does it do to your throat. My mother had lymphoma,
Mhm.
and she had to get like a mask here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it's done. They put a mask there so they can radiate here.
Yeah, the mask that we utilize, it's an immobilization device. So
Hmm.
for us in radiation oncology, when we're dealing with a high dose of radiation that we're administering to the patient, so we want to make sure that one, we're accurate and that we're treating the correct area every single day, day in and day out. So in order to ensure that, one of the things that we utilize is an immobilization device, and that being of a mask um, is one of them.
Oh,
So
that.
so putting the person in the mask ensures that excuse me, the patient is in the same position every single day. And so we take films, we take imaging to make sure that we are in the right location, and then we give that radiation to that specific area.
Oh, but I know it has a lot of side effects other than burns, correct?
Well, yeah, each body part has a side effect, right? Depending on what we're treating.
Okay.
So yeah. So I mean, you're dealing with a high dose of radiation to a specific area. And so whatever the area that's in or whatever organ is in that area or in that path of that radiation, you have to talk about the potential side effects.
Okay, but is it a myth that when it's okay, because I had done here with that it shrinks the skin or something? Because I know when I stretch, it'll hurt. And they're saying that's from the radiation.
Yeah. Well, one, I want to make it clear. I'm not a physician.
I
Uh,
know.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
But what
just
I
saying
but
as
but
a
what I
radiologist, would you know the side effects?
yeah, but what could happen? I'd like to speak on that. What I have seen over the 2 decades. For sure, for someone talking about putting your arms above your head, I assume we're talking about breast cancer
Right.
patients. And so we have an immobilization device that we use for breast cancer patients. And depending on the clinic, that can vary on that immobilization device. But obviously, we want to put the hands up so that we have full access to the breast when we're giving the treatments. So just putting your hands up every single day uh, above your head and being stretched, that in itself is what can cause some soreness, because you're elevating your arms and you have to hold them in that position for at least 15 minutes, right? As we are taking imaging, as we're giving you treatments, as we're positioning you. I mean, all those things are taking an effect. So when you talk about soreness or some tenderness in that area, absolutely. I mean, that's we're stretching you out and putting you on in a position. And then when you think about if you've got a lumpectomy, a lot of patients, right? You go and get the biopsy, they do the lumpectomy, or you have surgery, they take out some lymph nodes. And these are all the things that I've seen over the course of my career. Uh, there's some tightening because you just had surgery there. And
Okay.
so they talk about, are you doing the exercises? They give you exercises or things that you should do, maybe walking your hands above the wall. Physical therapy has their own regimen on what a breast patient should go through after having surgery. So all of those things play a role in your ability to stretch and the soreness that you may feel because of that,
Okay, let's go to the emotional side. How do you handle people who are going through not breast cancer, but just cancer emotionally? How do you how do you coach them so, you know, they don't feel a certain way? Emotions have a lot to do with it too.
for sure. For sure. Well, that's one of the most it's one of the most important things. That my podcast is based really on that. We can talk about some of the things that happen in the treatments, but it's really the emotional standpoint that needs to be addressed. Because the doctor, you come in, you see him, he sees you, He says, this is your diagnosis. This is what we're going to do. This is the treatment regimen. Great. You come in back to us. We administer the treatments. Great. So getting the treatments, the physical, all of that stuff is there. But what about the emotional? What about when you're at home and you're wondering, are these treatments going to work? Am I going to be able to see my family again? Am I going to die? Is this going to happen? There's a lot that we in our elements, in our job descriptions, we're not answering. We get you in and get you out. So I seen that, and that's one of the reasons why I became a cancer coach, and that's one of the reasons why I created this podcast, because the emotional side is extremely important. So for me personally, I'm always assessing you, and I'm assessing you, meaning the patient, as they come in, because you're coming in with an anxiety. You don't need to tell me. I don't need to see that, whether you express it or you don't express it. I know that's a part of it. And so my job that I personally take on is to make sure that you are okay along the way. Um, that what's going on, that you can open up, that we can talk about it. And I make sure that the dialogue is established early so that when we go through treatments together, because I'm going to see you, unlike the doctor, unlike the nurse, the radiation therapist, we're going to see you every single day because we're the ones giving the treatments. So every single day, I'm checking on you. I'm seeing how you are. How are you? How was your evening? What's going on? How you feeling? If you start to express, you know, there's been some emotional uh, challenges that you're going through, then I'll allow space for that, right? I allow space for you and I to have conversation as we are um, working towards your treatments. And so the conversation with me from an emotional standpoint is not one of a single day. It is what happens throughout the entire treatment. So that's me. That's Kenny Perkins. That's his approach, because not only I was a coach before I became a coach, right?
Okay.
This is what I've been doing for a living for the last 2 decades plus. So making sure that my patients are emotionally stable, uh, or an emotional state where they can function is important. Because if not, then I need to report that to the powers that be so that they can get the help that they need, right?
Okay. And what about spirituality? That's really important.
Yeah. Well, spirituality is something that, depends on the individual, right? So, I mean, there's people that don't have spirituality. They may be atheists. They don't believe in God. And then there's people who are extremely spiritual and or religious. And so regardless of your background, because that's where it comes from, right? Your background and your beliefs. Um, I try to make sure that I'm tapping into that, with that individual, and not necessarily in a sense of um, um, speaking or being preachy, but also just being able to speak on that level with you. I think is extremely important for me.
You have to meet them at their place.
Yeah,
Okay.
got to meet them at their
Now
place.
there's the other thing, the mindset. That is the hard thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mindset. How do you coach them on how to change their mindset, or you just let them know, they gotta be positive. And that's hard to do.
Well, you don't want to have toxic positivity, right? I mean, there's that, and um, that is not allowing someone to feel the things they're feeling, and not to allow them to be sad, not allowing them to be in the situation or a feeling that they have. You have to. It's a part of the process. And so, a lot of times, our families or our friends, they don't want to see us in that state. So it's like, you're going to be okay. It's just like this, stop crying. It's going to be, and and that's toxic positivity. They're coming from a great place. They're coming from a loving place, but you have to allow a person to go through that. And so, what we have done at All Talk Oncology, we've created a program that deals with mindset, that walks you through not only what happens when you get diagnosed, what happens when you're getting ready for surgery, what happens when you're getting ready for chemo, what happens when you're preparing for radiation, and then also some of the misconceptions that are happening with radiation oncology or being diagnosed with cancer, and then their mindset. We tackle all of that. We created a program for the patients and their loved ones and caregivers.
Because you know, the first thing, and I'm going to be honest with you, the first thing that comes to your mind is, am I going to die?
For sure,
That's the first thing.
for sure.
That's why I said, I mean, that you have to tackle with them to assure them that they're not going to die, you know. But then you know, you're not God, so you don't know. But while they're going through that journey, you have to encourage them on the way. Is that what you do?
We definitely, that is definitely my approach, mindset. I have another book coming out, and it's on that. It's
Oh,
the title is the same title as my program, and you know, it's about being present. And as a cancer coach, we learn those things, right? You learn that being present is so important, because what ends up happening is you start thinking too far in the future, and then that's when the anxiety comes in, and you're not being present and in the moment. And so stay in the moment. How do we do that? We talk about how do you stay in the moment, and then we also talk about the things that we're saying to ourselves. See, because the things we say to ourselves matter. You thinking that, oh, I'm going to die, this is cancer, this and that, and you're getting all this negativity about cancer. And each individual is different. each diagnose each individual diagnosis is different. And so what happened to someone else doesn't mean that it's going to happen to you. So I love to tackle those types of issues with my clients. Like I said, we have a program for patients and their loved ones, so that they can get walked through that. And we're here. We host webinars and whatnot, so that we can help the family, help the patient develop a mindset that is positive, and not toxic positivity, but true positive about where you're at in that day and how you wake up, the things you say to yourselves. All of those things we teach the patient and our loved ones.
yeah, because I mean, not to cut you off, but I know when I was going through it, I heard horror stories and I didn't want to be bothered.
Yeah,
And then I did hear that, oh, you're going to be okay. And I'm like, but you're not me, so you can't feel what I'm feeling.
exactly.
So why is it you're only on the West Coast? How come you're not all over? Don't
Well,
you think we need you worldwide?
for
You,
sure,
yeah, not just the West Coast. We have
for
the
sure,
East Coast, the Midwest. All of these people need a program like yours.
for sure.
Where you
And
gonna put that?
Francis, thank you for that. Thank you for saying that. And to answer that question, we our podcast lives on the West Coast with me. Obviously, I'm the founder of that, but we are global, and the
Oh,
program is global for anyone that wants to take advantage of that. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty of um, social media and the internet. You can access these things. So when we created this program, we created it for people to have it mobilely, right? You can watch the program on your phone and get tutored through this. We created this program for that. My guests on our podcast are from all over the world. From South Africa, we've been in South Africa, Greece, India, the UK, Australia, Canada. I mean, you name it, we've been there, and it's just continuously growing that way. Physicians from Hungary. we've had on the show. And that's because what I want you to see, not only am I being the Oprah of cancer, but I want you to see that cancer is a pandemic, that is affecting people from all over the world. It's not just here. And so we can bring light to someone's darkness. That is our goal. We want to empower the cancer patients through these insightful conversations. We want to empower them through these programs that we've created. And it's just about bringing awareness. And so, Francis, being able to be on a platform like this, where I can speak about it and whoever may be listening can benefit from it.
No, they'll be listening.
Mm-hmm.
They will definitely be, because I will be sharing your information. That's
Sure.
why I asked you, were you on the side? I'm gonna have to tell my hospital about you.
For sure. And
Yeah,
that's the other thing, Francis. We have had some of the major players in the cancer industry when it comes to hospitals on our show. We have Memorial Sloan Kettering, which is over there on the East Coast.
that's me.
Yeah, we've had
Yeah.
them on our show. We're talking about it, and so had some phenomenal physicians from there, um, and continuously. That's a relationship that we definitely love, and because what we're doing is providing awareness. Dana Farber is another on the East Coast that we've been associated with and had on our show. It's just we're continuously UCLA. Uh, we we want everyone to be on here to be able to give you information that you can walk away with. And in our programs, it's extremely important that patients see those programs because it brings a sense of relief. And as I say, I, it's me being the face of cancer. Right now, there's a lot of organizations and there's a lot of different institutions. But when you can go to a place like All Talk Oncology and you can find the resources that you need for the location that you're at, then that's powerful. When we can give you tools that you can go back and ask your medical team so that you guys both can make an informed decision and come to an agreement, that's powerful. And so that's what we want to bring. We want to make sure that we bring light in this dark period of time uh, in a person's life. But it won't be dark all the time. But in the current situations, it's probably one of the most horrific situations people can go through because they don't know much about cancer.
No, like, well, I had to get, it was explained to me by the doctor exactly what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually was Sloan Kettering. They drew up pictures so you could have a better understanding of what it is, how it breaks off. It's a bad gene, breaks off attached to another gene, and there you have it. That's how it was explained to me. So it made sense. So, but then as I began to do my research, it's a lot of the environment, things we eat, but we can't get away from those things. We just have to make healthy decisions, I'm assuming. As far as food, and you talk about all those things because of food and your clothing and that bottled water, all of those things attribute to it. And I know alcohol definitely,
For sure.
and being overweight, so I guess not saying that you can't bypass it by even if you're healthy, but as long as they have all talk oncology to come to, it would help. It's a stepping stone and it's comfort,
Yes.
It's like that Southern comfort. You come there and you go home filled
Yeah.
with knowing that you're not going to die. You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what all talk oncology does.
That's us. We want to,
That
we
Southern
want,
comfort.
I love that. I love that, Francis. I love that analogy. It's fitting, 100%. And that's exactly what we want to do, right? Because no one should have to live day to day in that fear, in that anxiety, or being overwhelmed, right? Not when there's resources, not when there's education involved. And that's what we've done. That's one of the main reasons why I've done this. I created a program for patients because a lot of misconceptions happen and they don't really know. And so we can educate you in that area. We created books because we wanted to make sure that you had something that you can read and understand what you may be going through. We bring in healthcare professionals so that we can help you see in different areas how you can prepare yourself. We bring in patients who have gone through it because maybe they can give you something that you may be experiencing and that you can adopt that you don't know about. All Talk Oncology is that. We want to make sure, when I say I'm going to be the Oprah of cancer, that's what we're doing. And when you talk about nutrition, when you're talking about fitness, it's important. We've had people on our show that talked about nutrition and why it's important, especially when you're getting prepared for treatments or surgery. And as we speak, um, I'm in talks with Mr. Knowles right now about a project that we're going to be working on.
Yeah, I
Uh,
saw you had an interview with him. I was so upset because I did something about him too. I didn't have him, but I celebrated his life because he is an advocate.
for
And I
sure,
like when people advocate and they're not looking for money, they're
sure,
giving their knowledge to help the next person.
for sure.
That's what, yes, I did. I said, look, Kenny beat me to the punch.
Well, we're on the same page, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I tell everyone, we are all on the same page to bring awareness to those that may be going through something like this. And even those, even a reoccurrence, we talk about that in my program. When you have a reoccurrence, it can be overwhelming because it's taken all of the energy that you've had in order to get through the first diagnosis, and then to come back and get a second one. Where do you draw that what do you draw that strength from? And so we talk about being able to draw strength, how to what are the things we're saying to ourselves, how do we get the mindset, and so that we show up every day for ourselves. And that's the key. Our superpower that we have is our ability to make choices. We all have that ability. And so when we utilize and tap into our superpower, that and we backed with knowledge, it's you find yourself in a much better space. And so that's what we try to do, right? And yeah, that's our goal.
That's what I said. It's Southern comfort. That's what you should put there. Taste of Southern comfort because it makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah,
You're not anxious or anything. You feel like a family member you can come talk to. And that's what it is. Like
is
when
that
we
how you
first
is that
started.
how you feel?
Yeah.
I
When we
love that.
when we first started and I was able to share that with you.
Yeah,
Yes. Because I don't want to share anything with anybody else. So it felt good,
yeah,
to share it with somebody that's in that profession,
for sure.
and it's not just oh, you're gonna be okay and this and that. Nah, I don't want to hear that. I need you
Mhm.
to listen. So that's why I said, and from my experience with my mother, it was her thing. I just want you to listen. And that's what she would tell the doctors because she was a nurse. I don't want to hear you. I want you to listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what's bothering me. So that's how she handled it. I mean, unfortunately, she did transition, but I was there with her. So that's why I asked you about that mass because she had lymphoma. And well, she was a tough cookie. So, hmm. Yeah, she used to boss them around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it's funny when she told the doctor to go back to medical school because you don't know how to draw blood. Yeah. And I told her I'm going home now. You better be here when I get back, young lady, because you are cruising for a bruiser. I, I think the doctor left the shoe with her head hanging down, and she got another doctor too. Yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, but this has been awesome. I finally we got a chance to meet and to
Yeah,
talk.
for sure.
And so I could rename my podcast. I mean, rename this episode, Kenny Perkins, Your Cancer Guy, A Taste of Southern Comfort.
I love
And
it.
then they'll be curious to want to know what was this Southern Comfort? Yeah. See, I thought you at first only dealt with just breast cancer, but you deal with oncology, period,
Yeah,
across the border.
that's
It's
right.
not one specific disease, it's all of them.
Yeah.
So then I understand, and I guess that is better that you cover them all because it's a wide spectrum. Have you dealt with any children that have dealt with breast cancer? I mean, with cancer, period? Yes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We've had we've had uh, a guest on our show, and she talked about what it was like for her being able to go through cancer as a young lady, before even going to high school, right? On junior high and going through the things like that and losing her hair and the challenges. And a lot of times kids don't have the ability to express themselves like adults,
Right,
but that doesn't mean that they're not feeling the anxiety or feeling the challenges that come along with it, self-consciousness, insecurities. And so
right.
being able to have them on the show and talk about that, and it's important. It's important to listen to, not only for the kids that may be diagnosed, but also for the parents, um, to hear what it's like and how they can approach their kids, right, dealing with something like that.
And I think that's important when people actually sit there, even though they're with you and they're seeing you, they need to hear exactly what you're feeling because those emotions are really deep. That's how this started. Because I was writing, but I needed you to hear my voice. I needed you to know I was really going through something. So I thank you for all of this, and I will not keep you. Anything else you want to say? You want to come back again?
for, for sure. You just let me know if you need me to come back. We'll definitely do that for your listeners. And just know, one, All Talk Oncology is a platform you can come through. It's not just for podcasting. We do it all. It's
Okay.
as I say, I want to be the Oprah of cancer. We've created programs for you if you're going through it. It all starts with your mind is another program that we have, and it talks about your mindset and how you prepare for that. We also have another program. So I have cancer. Am I going to die? That's the title of the program, and it walks you through all of the different things that I spoke about earlier, uh, when it comes to treatments, when it comes to misconceptions, and things like that. And then we're going to be working on another program here shortly. So those are some of the things that we have at All Talk Oncology. So if you're looking for some support on ways that you can, minimize some of the fear and anxiety, and if you're feeling overwhelmed, whether you are the patient, whether you're the loved one, or you're the caregiver, just
Right.
drop by All Talk Oncology and make sure that you benefit from some of the tools that we created for you.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm going to end this. Kenny, thank you for your honesty, your heart, and your deep commitment to those walking this difficult journey. To our listeners, if this episode touched you, share it with someone who needs encouragement because no one should have to walk their detour alone. Until next time, this is the Unexpected Detour.